Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I'm here once more to show a little bit of my disease, my mental illness, my inability to stop buying books. And the first few books are some that I picked up on my trip to Florida. And the first is The Tin Flute by Gabrielle Roy. I picked this up because a few months ago, a number of booktubers had reviewed this on their channels and really liked it. It is a Canadian novel. I don't remember much other than that. And this one, it has good Gorbagist potential. Nero, Butcher of Rome. And just look at that poor little girl on the cover. Her robe is not quite covering both of her breasts. So we know that is magnificent garbage potential. So let's just read a little bit from this flap in the beginning. But the orgy had already begun. Nero lounged in the arms Apoporia. Dozens of female slaves passed wine to the emperor's guests, half-nude boys, their shoulders covered by crimson robes and panther skins, flashed through the crowd. Directly in front of the imperial tribune, on a long line extending from one end to the semicircular spectators on the other, stretched rows of holes, perhaps 300 in number, spaced 2 feet apart. Into these holes the slaves were planting posts, on each of whose broad tops supported a human form, wrapped to the shoulders in hemp fiber. Stout iron wires fastened their bodies and limbs to the beams, and the whole covering was saturated with wax, pitch, tar, and oil. I think that's enough. Now this is a zebra book. If anyone knows the publisher Zebra, they published a whole lot of trash in the 80s. But oddly enough, this book is a translation from the German written in the 19th century or late 19th century. So, has potential. Blood Letter by Warren Newton Beef. After years of delays, the ultimate vampire movie is about to be filmed. But the author is suicidal and possibly insane. He's convinced his fictional vampire, the Bloodletter, is real. He may be right. The Bloodletter's biggest fan is also a vicious serial killer who will do anything to impress the undead role model. And a beautiful psychiatrist, hired by the studio to treat the writer, finds herself seduced by his dark, vampiric fantasies. What is the Bloodletter? A book? A movie? An undying nightmare that corrupts all who falls within its shadow. Again, here's a cover. No nudity, but quite close nudity. I'm sure it's trash. The Assassins by Eliza Kazan. This is the era of violence, of assassination, of ritual killing, of raw sex and animal desires, of people caught in the web of their own fury. I don't know if it was written by trash, but it sounds pretty trashy. Kim Newton, The Quorum. And in 1978, 3 ambitious young men strike a deal with Leach. I skipped part of this. In 1961, Derek Leach emerges fully formed from the polluted Thames, destined to found a global media empire of pop music. The Hollywood movie studios, newspapers, and publishers and television. In 1978, 3 ambitious young men strike a deal with Leach. They are offered wealth, glamour, and success. But the price must be paid. A sacrifice must be made. A conspiracy of long pain against their best friend. in 1994, Leech's diabolical purpose moves to its conclusion. And as these young men struggle against damnation, they realize what the ultimate price of reality is. With a devil updated from the 1990s, fame becomes a fate worse than death. Beast by Paul Kingsnorth. This is actually a piece of literary fiction. He wrote a book that's right behind me over there somewhere, Kingsnorth. Yeah, the Wake, or what's it? Yeah, the Wake, which is written in pseudo-fake language of early English. But this is Beast plunges you into a world of Edward Blackmaster, a man alone on an empty moor in the west of England. What he has left behind, we don't know yet. What he focuses on is existential battle with himself, the elements, and something that begins to see in the margins of his vision, some creature that is tracking him, the pursuit of which will become an obsession. And coming down here, we have some more Criminale picks. We have 3 or 4 books from the 87th Precinct, which I picked up at a used bookstore. This is early. The Cop Hater is the first in the 87th Precinct. I know I've read that book before many years ago. I don't remember a thing. I unhauled it, but now I'm rebuying it, which just means don't unhaul books. So I have Cop Hater, The Con Man, Pusher, and The Empty House. And because we are in the middle of June on the range, I picked up some Louis L'Amour at a thrift store. These were like $1 each, maybe less. I picked up the first in the Skagit trilogy, and that's Skagit's Land. This is really not a Western because, as far as I understand, this is set in 1660, so it's going to be England. And then I picked up some other ones, all in the Skagit trilogy. To the Far Blue Mountains, Ride the River. I'll even show you the covers. To the Far Blue Mountains. The Sackett Brand. Jubal Sackett. And Ride the River. I'm actually going to be reading a different Louis L'Amour that I'm getting from the library. I should be reading the ones that I buy, but that's not the way it's happening. And this is a surprise that came in the mail from Criminale. I was not expecting this. Here is Survivalist number 10, The Awakening, and take a good look at that pulp cover. There's the survivalist in his wife-beater t-shirt and his motorcycle. And some adorable woman on the cover with it as well, because I think you have to have adorable women in these books. I have not read these. I did try to read the first book, Total War, many years ago, probably like 15, maybe more years ago, and I didn't get through it. But I'm going to try to get a copy of Total War and see how far I get in the survivalists. Plus, what we have here are bookmarks from Criminale. And you need to look at these. Criminale made me read it. And it has the little code right there where it will take you to Criminale's YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do is, I got 3 of these bookmarks. I'm keeping one, but I'm going to drop off 2 of these in garbage-related books in little free libraries. And let's see if we can get a Criminale a new subscriber. So thank you, Ollie. I really do appreciate the free book. And I will see how I get along with The Survivor. And lastly is a book that has to be for Garbogist. They had more in this series, but I think one is going to be enough for me. The organization Mad. You remember Mad Magazine, don't you? Of course you do. Everyone loves Mad Magazine. So let's just do a brief impromptu review. A scene we'd like to see. A man on a ledge. Police officer trying to get him in. Looks like his boss or a businessman trying to get him in. An old lady, possibly his mother, trying to get him in. A beautiful young lady wants to get him in. She shows him a little baby. He shows his mouth. It's a baby. He turns around, reaches for the baby. Oh, what happened? He slips and he falls. This is going to be fun garbage for Garbogust. So that is my mini haul of books. Way more books than I can possibly read, but of course, like I said, this book buying thing, I can't stop. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.